Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Happens for a Reason podcast. So, today I wanted to do something a little bit more December festivities related and actually make this episode more health and fitness because this is a topic that has honestly came up so much over the last couple of weeks. And obviously with me being in the health and fitness industry and working with women who really struggle throughout the month of December in general, I just wanted to do an episode dedicated to that because I really do believe that this will help so many of you, especially if you do have that little bit more of a limiting belief when it comes to the month of December. And if you're the girl that always tells yourself, oh, fuck it, it's December, I can't stay on track, or I'll start again in January, there's no point in doing this now, you will definitely benefit from this podcast because, yeah, we are going to basically dispute absolutely all of that. Okay, you can still make progress in December, okay, but the main thing that's gonna affect that is your mindset will either make or break your December and your progress related to that as well. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you go into the month of December stuck in those limiting beliefs that you always find yourself stuck in, like for example, oh fuck it, it's December, there's no point in staying on track, I have too many social events, I'm far too busy, I will just start again in January, I'm not motivated, I have no motivation. You know, if you are constantly telling yourself those things, guess what's going to happen? You're going to stay stuck in that same cycle. Like you will just stay stuck there and you don't have to be, okay? You can overcome that so much more than you think, but it will all just come down to how you choose to approach it. So one thing that I always say to my clients in particular is approach the month of December with the mindset of maintenance, okay? Even if you're on a health and fitness journey, but your goal is fat loss, you want to lose weight, you want to be smaller, go into the month of December with the mindset of, okay, I've come here so far, this is how much weight I've lost. I want to make sure that I can maintain this weight throughout the month of December and not actually put weight on. This will be a game changer for you because you take away that external pressure off of yourself to lose more and more weight when it comes to December, when you will naturally have more social events on. But I actually done a post and I brought it up to my clients first. So every week with my clients, I do an educational group call, and this one was related to tackling your mindset around the festive season. And basically what I had laid out is a calendar of December, highlighted every single Saturday of December and Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day as well, New Year's Eve, and just a few random days throughout the week on top of that. And the reason that I did that is to highlight, okay, this is the month of December. There's 31 days in the month of December, but if you're off track every weekend, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, plus a few random events, plus New Year's Eve, you are still only off track 9 days out of the full month. There might be months where you might be off track 9 days regardless if it's December or not. But because it's December, people just think, oh, fuck this, I'm far too busy. There's no point in even trying. There's always going to be point in trying. And essentially what we're doing there is setting a limiting belief for ourselves, okay? Every time you tell yourself there's no point in trying, you're justifying your actions for just not bothering, okay? And sometimes that's just what you need to hear, and it is the truth. You telling yourself there's just no point is you justifying the fact that you cannot be bothered to actually do something. So if you break it down, that 9 out of 31 days in December is only 29% of your month, which is fucking mental. 29% of your month, which means that gives you 71% to still make progress or stay on track, stay in your normal routines and stay on top of that side of things. Look, in all reality, yes, December is naturally busier, socially busier. We do naturally have a lot more on compared to maybe your September. I don't know why September, but compared to your usual month, you will naturally have a lot more on in the month of December. But on a day-to-day basis, your routines are still the exact same. You're still going to be going to work as usual. Your kids are still in school until the 21st or something like that of December. Do you know what I mean? You are still in your normal patterns and you are still in your normal routines the whole time throughout that. So that's what you need to remember, and that's what you constantly need to remind yourself of, because when it comes to that, like you going, oh fuck it, it's December, I'm just not gonna make my normal breakfast, I'm just gonna order takeaways, I'm just gonna end up eating out all the time. Why? Because your routine doesn't actually change until the week of Christmas, when you will get time off work, and obviously that week in between Christmas and New Year's where nobody really knows what time or day of the week it is, we do get a little bit lost in that week. But right up to that point, we are still in our standard routines. You're still waking up, you're still getting yourself ready, you're still getting the kids ready for school, you're still going to work, you're having your usual breaks and lunches, you are still in the same routine, which also means that you can still just continue with your normal day-to-day life that you do every single other month of the year. But I feel like where our biggest limiting belief actually comes from in the month of December is that we lose focus of our goals. People start to get unmotivated, it's getting darker, it's getting colder, and it's easier to make up excuses for yourself. And that's all it comes down to. It is literally just easier to make up those excuses and tell yourself that, there's just no point. But there always is going to be point. Why would you want to be in a worse position than you are now come January, come 3 weeks time? Like, you don't want to be there. Where you want to be is either in a better position or in the same position that you are in. But like the biggest thing, and I see it all the time in the coaching industry, like even with clients, I get inquiries through now and people tell me, oh, but I'm just inquiring for January. Why? Like, literally, why? You are always going to be busy, and like you could still be in a better position going into January, or you could, because the issue is whenever you don't have that accountability, whenever you don't have those boundaries set with yourself, what's actually going to end up happening is you're just going to go into the fuck it mentality and completely go off the rails. You're going to eat everything in sight. You're not going to move at all because you're like, oh, but in January I'll be doing all this. But the issue with that is when it comes to January, you are motivated. Of course, we're all excited. New Year's resolutions, new goals, everything is in place, and you're roaring to go, and you're super excited for, I'm gonna smash this, it's a new year, new me, all of that crap. And the reason I'm calling it crap is because, don't get me wrong, like, I do believe in New Year's resolutions. I absolutely do, because for some people it's just a fresh start, because we obviously round up the year in a year essentially, right? And if you've had a few things happen to you that year that just put the year down overall, you rated it lower essentially, what comes from that is you will look back and be like, oh, 2025 just wasn't the best year, it wasn't my year, but 2026 will be. And that's totally fine. But if you're aware of those actions, why would you put off everything and put off the inevitable for another 3-4 weeks of the year going into January? You can set new intentions in January, but don't go all or nothing, because the all or nothing mentality is what keeps us stuck all the time. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas, it doesn't matter if it's New Year's, it could be absolutely anything. If you're going into everything with the all or nothing mindset, you are going to stay stuck exactly where you're at. And the reason being behind that is because you simply don't believe in yourself. You think that you have to either completely torture and punish yourself, or there's no point in doing it at all. And where the all or nothing mentality comes from is from the perfectionist mindset. Okay, so what it actually comes down to is you constantly tell yourself, if I can't do this perfectly, I'm not going to bother at all. But all that's going to happen from that is you're not going to bother at all, okay? Because there's no such thing as perfect, and there's no such thing as a perfect week, a perfect month. You will never be able to stay on track 100% of the time, no matter how much you want to. Like, even if you were on an absolute roll and you're like, I'm locked in, I can do this, I'm absolutely going to smash this, what's going to end up happening is life will get in the way. Do you know what I mean? Breakups might happen. People might get sick. You might get sick. Your kids might get sick. That means you're going to be off track as well. You're not going to be able to be going to the gym at 6 a.m. like you usually do if you didn't get a full night's sleep because your children are sick or you can't leave their side. And that is out of your control, But the issue with this is, like, when things like that happen, people that are in the all or nothing or the perfectionist mindset, when things like that happen, they just go, oh, well, that's it. I fucked it. There's no point in carrying on now. And that's why you are constantly dieting and going into the next diet and doing it again over and over and over again. You need to break the cycle to get out of that cycle, okay? Life's always going to pop up. Life's always going to be busy. Some months are going to be socially busy. Some months are going to be stressful. Some months your boss is going to be a dick to you in work. None of those aspects should completely knock you off. It's okay to take a step back. And like, I can speak from experience with this. Like, if work is super busy, Sometimes I have to miss sessions, and sometimes I feel like shit for it. And sometimes I feel like I'm not prioritizing myself, or, something goes wrong and I do have to eat out the full day, which I don't recommend because it leaves me feeling like absolute shit. But sometimes that's going to happen. But if you are beating yourself up for it and just going, I already ruined that, so there's no point in carrying on, you are just taking yourself 10 steps back. Instead, once things settle, or when things do settle, get back to normality, or stay in control of aspects that you can control. So one bit of advice I always give to my clients is, if you can't get your workouts done, you can't get out of the house, you can't get to the gym, fine. Let's really give your all to your nutrition this week. That's all that needs to be done. Not everything has to be thrown off. It's called habit stacking. If you can't do one thing, focus on the other. And sometimes it's literally the bare minimum. Get your water intake in. Maybe pace up and down the house to get that extra 2,000 steps in. It could be absolutely anything. Prep your meals for the next 3 days, because life is going to be busy. So you want to show up for your future self, and you want your future self to thank you. And like I said, obviously this is very, very much so related to December, because so many people are in that all or nothing. At the minute, people are in the nothing mentality, because they're like, well, I'm not going to be on track fully in December, so I'm just not going to bother at all. And then in January, I'm going to be all in again. But that's not real life, because after January, in general, January is a quieter month. But then going into February, Valentine's Day comes up, and you're either in a relationship or you're dating somebody, and you're going to end up doing things for that, or you're single and you're going to do Galentine's, or you're going to be feeling sorry for yourself and you're just going to order a takeaway for yourself. Whatever that looks like, there's always going to be those things that creep up, and that's okay. But there's no reason to continue putting that off, So girls, take a step back and just break down the basics. You might not be able to be 100% on plan this month, but even when we look at that calendar of social events, every Saturday is busy. You're going for a dinner and drinks one day, you're going to Christmas markets the next day. All of those are evening events. Your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks in between can all still be fully on plan, but it's down to you to actually just be accountable with yourself and set those boundaries with yourself and be like, you know what, I can still stay on plan. I just need to get my ducks in order, essentially. And that's all it comes down to, because just, going out for a couple of drinks is not going to impact anything. Going out for a dinner is not going to impact anything. What's going to impact it is what you do around that. Just because you're going out for dinner, why are you eating a fry for breakfast and getting a freaking burger for lunch? There's no need for it. Have your normal breakfast and lunch. Get up in the morning, get out for a walk, get some fresh air, get some steps in. So you're already ticking off a box before you even go do any of that. Or get up in the morning and go to a gym, get some sort of activity in. Just because you're going out, it doesn't mean you don't move. Do you know what I mean? And that it will literally just come down to mindset, because all of these habits you may or may not already have in place. But if you're somebody that has been, on a health and fitness journey the last couple of months, or trying to be on a health and fitness journey the last couple of months, you will already start or have those habits in place. You're already getting up at a specific time. You have your gym slots, your PT sessions, your group classes, your Pilates, whatever it is. You already have all that in routine. Why break that just because it's the month of December and you might have to miss one session, or you might have a meal out after the session? There's no reason for it, And another thing that I feel like is really, really big in the month of December, and people definitely feel it, is social pressures around December. Just why you're not drinking, just have a drink, or you need to eat out, you should be having this, finish your food. There's a lot of social pressures around that, and everybody's doing 12 pubs or going out drinking every day of the week when they're off work and stuff like that. And a lot of people feel like they can't set boundaries with that. But one thing I do want to address, look, if you want to be drinking that Thursday to Thursday throughout the Christmas week, you do you. That's totally fine. Go and enjoy yourself. But if you're somebody that doesn't actually see value in that, or somebody that doesn't enjoy that, but you're doing it just because the people around you are judging you for not drinking, or they're making slight comments for you maybe not wanting to go out, if you are in that situation, what you need to do is set boundaries with people, okay? Because everybody asks, oh, why are you not drinking? But nobody asks, why are you drinking? Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I love a drink every now and again. Absolutely, I am not anti-alcohol. That's not what I'm trying to approach here. But for example, if I want to go out and I want to drink, I'm going to drink. But if I want to go out and still socialize and still see my friends and still have a boogie and a dance and have a great time, I don't associate alcohol with that, because you don't need to. You can still go out and have a great time if you're surrounded with the right people. And none of my friends will come and say, oh, but why are you not drinking? Like, just have one. Like, what's the big deal? Because I have boundaries set in place with them, and they also understand. Like, I have really, really good supportive people around me, which is super important. Now, that wasn't always the case. There was times like beforehand where I would go out and not eat out or not drink, for example, when everybody else was drinking, and all I used to get was judgment. And it can be quite deflating, essentially, is the word I'm looking for. It can be deflating, it can be quite disappointing, and it's like people, you don't feel like that support is around you, and they might be supportive in a different type of way. Do you know what I mean? They want you to have a good time, we want you to have as much fun as they are, and that sort of thing, and that's totally fine. But if they are your real friends, and maybe you don't feel like you going out and drinking, or not even that, like say everybody's ordering cocktails and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna get some vodka and like a spirit and a 0 calorie mixer, because I know if I drink cocktails, it's going to push me way over my calories and do a lot more damage than it needs to. And people are like, oh, but why are you drinking that when we're all drinking this? Let them say whatever it is that they need to say. And you just set the boundary of, look, I am currently on a fat loss journey. I don't really want to put on much weight over December, because it is obviously busier and we're out a lot more than usual. So I'm just going to stick to this because this matches my goals more. And this keeps me closer to my goals a little bit more. And a lot of people will be like, fuck it, carry on. Do you know what I mean? Because you're still there, you're still showing up, you're still enjoying yourself. And sometimes it can be hard, and especially with family pressures, and like you're going over to your granny's and she's feeding you absolutely everything. And that's totally fine. Trust me, I get it. Like, if I'm on my granny's, I'm not making my own food. And it's fine to enjoy all that, but don't carry that on into the next day. Like, go over, have the family dinner, go and enjoy yourself. But you don't need to binge the rest of the week then, just because you were out, like your food was out of control yesterday, or out of your control more so yesterday. Do you know what I mean? You can still stay super accountable to yourself the next day, and when you get back to your normal routine, because December is the month where routine turns to no routine for a lot of people in certain areas. The first couple of weeks of December, there's no reason for you to be off track. Yes, you might have social events out. You might have Christmas dinners. You might have work dues, Christmas parties, Christmas markets, whatever that case is. But that's not going to be a full weekend thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might be going out for dinner in the evening, drinks in the evening. That means the rest of the day, you get that choice and you choose your heart. Do you want to show up for yourself, or do you not? Like, if you know you're going out, why would you not get a little bit of activity out in that morning? Why would you not go for a high protein breakfast that morning instead of, just eating whatever just because you're going out? Because you know yourself, it's going to make you feel 10 times better when you're out, and you're not going to be bloated and groggy. And yeah, like, there's so much that comes from that, and you deserve to feel good on your Christmas night out. You absolutely deserve it, but show up for yourself in that type of way. Stop putting it off to January, because the thing is, in January, you're going to get that surge of motivation, which is going to come crashing right back down afterwards when you go into February, and all of a sudden you're back to square one because you couldn't maintain that all or nothing mindset, but I really do hope that this is beneficial, and like absolutely everything I'm describing, yes, there might be little pointers here and there, but in general, it's all in your head, girls. It literally is all in your head. And December is a big month for that, but even throughout the year, if you're somebody that's stuck in the all or nothing mentality, it will come down to your mindset to help you overcome that. You don't have to be perfect at something, because you never will be. I have been in this game for freaking hell, I don't even know how long. I think it must be like 13-14 years now that I haven't been doing it properly, but it's been a long time. Am I perfect? No. Like, do I still sit on the sofa and have a little binge every now and again? Yes, absolutely. And that's fine. But the difference is that I have now learned and understand myself. I understand where it's coming from. I understand my triggers, and I'm aware of that. So I'm able to go into the next day and be like, yep, back to normal, back to routine, need to get my ass to the gym. I don't carry on the binge into the next day and the next day and the next day. And like, that's one aspect that I always speak about from that perspective, because a lot of people that emotionally eat or binge eat, which can be quite common around Christmas, because I know not everybody, obviously, like I know a lot of emotions come up around Christmas. If you've lost somebody close to you, it can be really hard time. If you went through a breakup recently, or like your circumstances have changed, I feel like sort of holidays like this can really have an impact on how you feel about all of those things, which, yeah, if you are going through that, I'm truly sorry. And I understand that for a lot of people that might mean that they turn to food for comfort. And this is one thing I always speak about, like turning to food for like emotional comfort and just to feel better is coming from your body and your mind looking serotonin and dopamine. It's looking for that happy hormone. It's looking to cheer you up. It's making you essentially feel better, which will then essentially a lot of the time lead to a binge. And binge eating is not an issue until it becomes an issue where it's like constant. But how we overcome that is not overnight. If you try overcome binge eating through the all or nothing mentality, you are going to stay stuck there and you're not going to move forward. How we overcome that is every single time we go to binge, we become aware of our triggers. We write down our trigger. Was it a particular food? Was it an emotion? Was it stress? Was it whatever the case might be? And write it down and like write down the foods you binged on. And what we want to do is over the period of a month, of 2 months, is reduce the frequency of your binges by gaining awareness around them. Because the more aware you are of your own triggers and what's sort of causing it, the more control you have over fixing it. So for example, if it's stress and it's stress in work, what we need to manage is not your binge eating, because that's not the issue without the stress at work. So why is your work environment stressful? Is it within your control? Is it out of your control? How can we manage your stress? What can we implement? Meditation tools, going out for a walk, ringing a friend. What's going to make you de-stress a little bit more? Potentially changing your work environment. It might be potentially changing your whole work environment, which is fine. And yes, obviously that's not an easy sort of thing to fix, but we can first focus on improving your stress, and focusing on that, because once your stress is improved, we know you don't tend to emotionally eat as much. So there's progress with all of that. If you know it's particular foods, for example, or like being around particular people who always eat out, okay, what we want to do is set boundaries with them. Or for example, whenever it comes to you binging on that food yourself, don't buy the family pack, buy the small packs, and make sure like put them in the freezer, put them out of the way, and take one out a day, so you can teach yourself how to gain control over that food. But it all takes time, and the goal isn't to just stop binge eating overnight or stop emotional eating overnight, because that's not going to happen. It's to reduce the frequency of it. So if you are sort of struggling with this going into December and noticing these patterns are occurring, and you're constantly comfort eating and emotional eating, literally break it down as to like, okay, what way am I feeling? Is it sadness? Is it loneliness around this time of year? Am I missing somebody? Okay, how can I work on improving on this emotion? So loneliness might be, ringing up a friend or asking a friend to meet up, making some external plans with people, that they don't even have to be Christmas related, and having people around you, joining community, starting like different, go to a run club, whatever it might look like, anything that's going to put you out there a little bit more and push you out of your comfort zone a little bit more. If it's stress, again, how can we manage your stress? That's what you want to be looking at, because otherwise you're going to continue reaching for the food and using that as emotional comfort, which is only going to end up making you feel worse, But to wrap this episode up, I thought I would just give you some pointers that I do think would help all of you going into this. So a couple of things. Firstly, it's all in your head. It's all your mindset, okay? The way you approach December is totally in your control and completely in your head. So if your mindset is right, you will have an amazing December. You will either make progress or maintain the results you've made so far, and you can absolutely go and smash 2026. And if your mindset is not there and you're in the all or nothing mentality, you're going to put yourself into a worse position, which is not something that you want. That's probably the main thing that I would say. And just being aware of sort of like, okay, couple of days off does not mean that I have to go into the fuck it mentality altogether. You can have an evening off and still stay on plan for the rest of the day. And remember, 9 days off out of the 31 that are in December is only 29% of the month. Stop fucking the other 71% just for the sake of it, okay? And yes, just some extra little bits. I would say set your non-negotiable tasks on a daily basis, okay? So your non-negotiables are things that you do no matter what comes up. That might be drinking your water, getting 7 to 8 hours sleep, maybe getting a walk in. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes or an hour. It's like set that as a non-negotiable task that you have to get some sort of movement in. Even having those 3 habits in place will again avoid you from going all or nothing, because you're already ticking off 3 boxes that are still going to keep you closer to your goal. Do you know what I mean? Or even setting a non-negotiable as like making sure that all of your meals have some sort of protein in them. Even if you're not tracking your calories, make sure they're based around a protein source. That will help you stay fuller, it'll improve your satiety and avoid you from overindulging as well. keep those habits in place. Like your habits are your non-negotiables, and just set those throughout the month of December. And then just like little small daily tasks that you want to have in place for yourself. I would say start every single day with intentions. Write down your 3 intentions for that day. What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? I don't know. And what you want to stay on track with. Set those 3 intentions, and at the end of the day, reflect on them. Did I achieve this? No. Okay, what am I going to do tomorrow to help me achieve this? And the other thing that I will say is don't feel guilty. Don't let guilt kill you, okay? Guilt is going to be the biggest thing that will lead to self-sabotage. It always does. The more guilty we feel, the more worse actions that we do, and the worse that it will get over time. So if you did binge, if you did eat out and you went on a complete bender all day, fine, move on with it the next day. There's no point in sitting in that guilt, because you're just going to end up self-sabotaging and making yourself feel worse. Don't sit in it. Process it. Why did it happen? What happened? Okay, how can I make today a better day? That's going to be the biggest thing, because there will be times that you're just going to go, fuck it. And like I said, I still do it to this day. Some days I literally just don't give a flying shit, and that's fine. But I don't let that roll into the next day or the next day or the next day. I just get back to my normal routine and my normal habits. And that's how, you can maintain your shape, and you can still lose weight even throughout all that, because that one night out is not going to throw you off. It's absolutely not going to throw you out. Alcohol is not the devil. You can drink alcohol and it's not going to make you put weight on, okay? Where the nights out usually tend to go wrong is you go out, you drink absolutely everything in sight. You go for the highest calorie option, and then you end up getting a takeaway on the way home. Then the next day you're feeling sorry for yourself. You're sitting on the sofa eating absolutely everything in sight. You're going to order a takeaway because you can't be bothered cooking dinner because you're hungover. All of those things is where it actually ruins your progress. It's not the alcohol itself. So you can still go out and have a plan of action for the next day as to how you're going to make yourself feel better. Get your electrolytes in, get your water in. Have a ready-made meal, like have a meal made maybe the night before or the day before that you can just pop into the microwave to avoid you getting a takeaway. Make a fakeaway, fried chili, I don't know, a honey chili chicken or something, like a Chinese fakeaway. Something that's going to give you comfort, but it's also not going to make you fall off plan, so it's all about your planning and your mindset and sort of the way you approach every single day. But I really, really do hope you find this helpful, girls. And yeah, I just wanted to do a full episode, because I feel like I'm talking about it so much on my Instagram, but I'm like, there's so much in my head that I need to get out, and I thought the podcast would be the best option to be able to do that. And yeah, for any of those that are listening and coming from my coaching page, if you actually inquire for my coaching coming off the podcast, if you use the code in the referral code, everything happens, just everything happens for a reason, whatever it is that you want it to be, you actually get 10% of all of our coaching packages. And yes, you can wait until January to start, don't worry. But yeah, if you are interested, obviously just if you do send an inquiry, make sure you add that so you get a little bit of a discount and a kickstart for the new year. But look, girls, besides that, have an amazing Christmas. I will definitely still have episodes out in between that anyway, so I'm not going to say that yet, but have a lovely Christmas anyway, and a happy new year. If anybody, for whatever it is that you are doing, whatever you are doing for your celebrations, and go and enjoy yourself guilt-free. Like, no, don't track calories on Christmas Day. No, don't worry about any of that. Go and have fucking fun with your family, with your friends, whoever you're spending it with. And yeah, don't let the guilt kill you going into the remainder of the month, But anyway, girls, thank you so much for listening, and I shall see you all next Wednesday. And yeah, bye.